So, a quick little update. So, I have now completed my first week on the AltraLife shake diet. I'm in my kitchen again, so literally the bags of shakes are behind the camera on the counter. I have them set up like in a line with my ground flaxseed every day because I find it easy to have a routine with stuff. So I have 4 flavours for the 4 shakes, and I have them in a set row. So I have vanilla at the start of the day, then I have latte, then I have strawberry, then I have chocolate, and I have all the scoops lined up. So it's been pretty good. First day was very easy to begin with, and then got harder as the day went on, as I started to like feel hungry and I got very fatigued towards the end of the day. And then Tuesday was the hardest day by far. I think part of it is because I was only drinking water and not sugar-free soda, which has caffeine in it. So I think it was partly getting used to the diet and also probably partly caffeine withdrawal, because towards the afternoon I got very bad fatigue and I couldn't concentrate on text. I had to cancel the work I was doing for that day. And by the sort of early evening, I had like intermittent headaches at the front of my head for the rest of the day and night, and I spent the whole time in bed and only got up to have shakes. It was not fun. But once I got over that hurdle and got back to balancing out having water and no added sugar squash with also having sugar-free fizzy drinks so that I have caffeine in me, things have gotten way better. So from Wednesday onwards, it's been a million times easier. Also, apologies if you can hear my cat drinking from the water fountain. Yeah, a million times better after that. It's been fairly smooth sailing. The only sort of hiccup was yesterday on Sunday, because I had to go out for a few hours. So I'd heard stories that if you make the shakes in advance and take them with you, they can get kind of congealed. So I was a bit worried about that. So I contacted Oviva. I sent a message just being like, I've seen that Slim Fast shakes are 200 calories. Can I swap out a shake for a Slim Fast shake as an on-the-go emergency thing? And they came back and just said, as a one-off, yes, it's fine. So I knew I might skip 2 meals. So I took 2 Slim Fast shakes with me. And I had one while I was out. And it was one of the most disgusting things I've ever had in my life. So if you're thinking about doing this diet, I can assure you the AltraLife shakes are a million times better than the Slim Fast shakes, which are, I had vanilla and it was so vile. The first mouthful was okay, and then after that I felt like I was going to be sick. So for the second one, I just forced myself to like wait an extra hour to get home to eat, because I was just like, there's no way I'm having another one. So that's worth noting. In future, when I go out, I would rather like take the powder in the shaker separately with me and like the measured amount of water in a bottle or something, and make the shake on the go. Anything to avoid the Slim Fast shakes as an alternative. I did look into like Huel, but that's like 400 calories, so it'd be double the amount, so I don't want to do that. But yeah, other than that, it's been fine. I get a little bit hungry sometimes, but it never gets to that point of feeling like sick with hunger or hunger pains. You never get that hungry. I do have quite a strict regimen, so I have set times that I have the shakes and try not to stray from that. So because I wake up quite late, I have one at 10:30, one at 2, one at 5:30, and one at 9. So they're all 3.5 hours apart. And I find that works for me, but obviously if you're someone who is a lot busier than I am and doesn't do freelance from home, you might find that a lot more difficult. Also, the flaxseed, at first I hated it because it's ground, but it's very bitty. There's whole seeds in there. It's like shelly, and I didn't like the texture of it trying to drink the shakes. So the first couple of days I was looking into powdered flaxseed, which is quite hard to get, but a couple of protein places do it. But I didn't buy it because I found that by Wednesday, I now really like the flaxseed, because I think it's mostly a placebo effect thing, but you kind of chew it just a little bit while you're having the shakes. So I actually find the process of that makes, like, kind of tricks my brain into thinking it's food and not just liquid. And now I really like having just a little something to chew on. So now I'm actually a big fan of the ground flaxseed. I know when I've seen other people do these shakes, they normally get like a fiber gel or something, like the powder stuff you make up with water from AltraLife. I didn't get that. I just have the flaxseed, and that seems to be going all right. So I'm fine with that. Also, the latte flavour I have come to hate, but I'm dealing with it. It's still not as bad as Slim Fast. So why I got the latte one, even though I knew I didn't like it that much, is I figured I could make it into an imitation iced latte. And I do highly recommend this, but doing it every day can be a little bit of a pain in the arse, and sometimes I wish I could just sit down and drink it. And I can, but it's not a nice experience. But the nice way of doing it is if you get like a glass and put ice in it, and I have some sugar-free flavoured syrups. So here I have toasted marshmallow and I have butterscotch. I think I'd like to get something like pumpkin spice or something a little bit more bordering savoury and sweet, because the shakes are quite sweet. But they help. And putting like ice cubes in a glass, a bit of syrup, then put the latte shake in, and then I normally add a little bit of skimmed milk, because you can have up to 100 milliliters of skimmed milk, and like stir it all together, and then it becomes kind of like a fake iced latte. And I think that is by far the nicest way to have it. I know some people also mix it with the chocolate to make like a mocha flavour, which apparently is nice, but I kind of don't want to ruin the chocolate like that. So yeah, doing that is nice. A little bit of a faff, but it's a nice way of doing it. And it's an interesting little break through the routine as well. But yeah, otherwise it has gone much easier than I thought. I do miss food. I do think about food. I found I can now watch videos to do with food and see food online, and it doesn't make me sad or kind of miserable because I miss food. So that's a good thing. I can deal with the existence of food. But I do think about it, and I think about my favourite foods and I miss them. But like, it's not a bad thing. It's just kind of nice thinking about food and knowing that one day I'll have food again, rather than it being like a challenge. So knowing that the first week is normally the hardest makes me very optimistic. The biggest slog, I would say, the biggest bad mental health thing is knowing that there's still 7+ more weeks to go. But this is 1 week down, so I will get onto my weight loss, like at the end. I say 7+ weeks because I'm still not entirely sure of the process. So my complaint about the actual service and process itself is this. I was told a dietitian will get in contact with you and you'll have to speak to a dietitian once a week, every week to begin with, and then after a while that will become less and less. I got a message from a dietitian at 8 p.m. on like Wednesday or Thursday evening, just being like, "Hi, how's it going? I'll follow up with you at the end of the week." That was it. That's it. I did message them about the slim fasting. I was very grateful they got back to me, because that's the extent of my contact. I've had no speak with a dietitian. I haven't been able to ask, hey, I have 8 weeks worth of shakes, everything online, and every other experience I've seen says it's a 12-week process, and then the reintroduction period. Looking at mine, it's an 8-week process, and then the rest of that 12-week period is reintroduction with part shakes, part food, which is not what I've seen from other people, but I'm assuming with my case is what it's going to be. But I don't know, because I don't have anyone to ask. I could call up like the number, but I feel like I'm hassling them for something I'm already in, and like anxiety, I hate using phones and stuff. I just figure like the dietitian will eventually be in contact with me. When they are, I can ask. But they haven't. No one has checked in with me, apart from like a generic copy and paste message. That's it. So I assume at some point a dietitian will be in touch. The whole point of this thing is it's meant to be like medically guided and observed and assisted. It's not been my experience yet. So we'll see, I guess. But yes, I have had a loss. I know some people on here have like incredibly insanely dramatic losses of like a stone or more than a stone. I haven't. However, I have lost 7.6 pounds. I can't remember how many kilograms that is. It's like 2 and something, 3 and something. I'm doing everything in pounds, even though the app prefers kilograms, because pounds makes sense to me. It's a nice, easy number, which is awesome. Like before, when eating healthier and stuff, I'd be lucky if I could lose a pound in a week, and I would consider that good progress, if it's something I could keep going. So on this incredibly extreme diet of losing like half a stone in a week is batshit. It hasn't like quite registered in my brain, because I can't feel that I've lost half a stone. So in my head, I'm just kind of like, that's great, but I can't physically comprehend it. So I'm just like focusing on the numbers, being like, yeah, I did make a mistake throughout the week of getting curious and weighing myself a couple of times in a row. I would recommend not doing that, because then you get fixated on the numbers and things can fluctuate throughout the day so much. It's not reliable and it's not worth it. you should try and stick to only weighing yourself once a week. It's a much more accurate and easier way to see the actual long-term effects. So don't give in to curiosity like I did. I had a sad moment at one point because I'd only lost something like less than 4 pounds, and I was like, is it not going to get better than that? It did, because it like doubled. So it does, and it will. So yeah, if you're considering this, I'd just say stick with it. It might seem hard, but like the shakes do keep you full. You might get little pangs of hunger towards like the end of the time you should be getting towards having your next shake, but it's completely bearable. I think if you do a very physical kind of job, you will struggle a lot because you only need to do gentle activity. That's another thing I've started to incorporate gentle use of my exercise bike. I have to be quite careful because I have like physical disabilities and stuff. But getting back into that has also been easier, I found, because if I have the motivation to do the diet, it gives me the motivation to do other things. It's kind of set off a chain reaction of taking care of myself better because I have this nice regimen to follow. So like mental health wise, I found it a very positive experience. So yeah, basically, apart from like a couple of little things, it's all been very good. So I will do another check-in in another week to say my loss and how things are going and if anything has changed. But so far, so good.